This video tells you everything you need to know to have a fun backcountry camping trip in Algonquin Park. Not just anywhere in Algonquin Park, but in the eastern end of Algonquin Park at a place called High Falls and the Barron River, which is a great place to go. It features a natural water slide, some swimming holes and a jumping rock, as well as beautiful canoeing, portaging, and a river, nice small river that goes through a pretty cool canyon. So I'm going to just run through quickly the steps that you need to take to organize this trip, and I hope that that's useful to you. So first of all, if you're going to do a canoe trip in Algonquin Park, you better have the Algonquin Park Canoe Routes map, which is produced by the Friends of Algonquin Park. You can order it on their website, or you can buy it at any outfitter in the region. If you get that map and you look at the very eastern end of it, you will see this access point number 22, which is the Achray campground access point. There is an actual campground there with a park office, and that will be the beginning of your trip. And you can spend a night at the Achray campground itself. That'll be a way for you to organize your crew, meet any multiple vehicles, get your tent and all your gear ready for your canoe trip. Also, all of the subsequent reservations of the trip are on a first come, first served basis, in the sense that you can book a lake, but you don't book a site. So it's worth your while to stay at Achray Campground the night before, so you can wake up early and get the best campsite you can find the following day. So you would paddle from there south. And there's a small portage before you get into Stratton Lake. I recommend you spend 2 nights at Stratton Lake. Find a campsite, stay there for 2 nights, and that's so that you can enjoy those features that I previewed and that I'll show you again in a second. And then I actually recommend to turn this into an honest canoe trip and to maximize the wilderness and that natural experience, that you actually don't go back to Achray when you're done 2 nights at Stratton, but in fact continue on the trip, go to the very southern east end of Stratton Lake, right at the heel of the boot, and take that portage into St. Andrews Lake, and then continue into High Falls Lake and actually camp either at High Falls Lake or at Ooze Lake, at Brigham Lake, or even at Opalescent Lake, but camp an additional night at one of those lakes to make your trip even more fun-filled. And then the following day, you can take a leisurely paddle down the Barron River at the bottom of the canyon, all the way downstream east to Squirrel Rapids, and that will be where you will take out. So if you have 2 vehicles, you'll want to have one vehicle at Squirrel Rapids, the other vehicle, of course, at Achray, where you put in. And that is a magnificent trip. So let me show you where I'm talking about in the park. As I said, it's the eastern end of the park. So here you can see we're probably about 3.5 hours maybe northwest of Ottawa. We are close to Pembroke, Ontario. If you're driving from that direction, if you hit Petawawa, you've gone too far. But we're actually very close to Petawawa and close to the Canadian Forces Base at Petawawa. But there's a road here that leads off of the Highway 17, and it's actually the Barron River Road. And when you take that exit off the highway, there's a little turn you need to make to stay on the right road, follow the signs. And then as you drive towards Achray, you'll drive right past 2 outfitters. The first one of those is Algonquin Portage Store and Outfitters. It's a big operation with lots of boats, with lots of gear, and so you should call them ahead of time and reserve gear and organize your shuttle with them. Tell them you're putting in at Achray and you're taking out at Squirrel Rapids, and they'll take care of the shuttle. So too will Algonquin Bound Outfitters, the other major outfitter on the way. I've used both of these outfitters. They're both extremely reliable. They know their business. And if you arrive after hours, they'll leave the gear out for you. They've done this all before 1,000,000 times. So you're in really good hands with them. But you need to make arrangements with one of these outfitters ahead of time if you're renting any kind of gear or canoes, and also to arrange your shuttle. The other organization you need to do ahead of time is with the park itself. So you'll need to reserve that first night at the Achray campground, and you can do that on this website ahead of time. And you should also then go to the backcountry part of the website and reserve your backcountry sites, which are those 2 nights on Stratton plus that 4th night on an additional lake, such as Ooze Lake or Opalescent Lake or High Falls Lake. And those campsites are backcountry sites, meaning that they have fire pits, they have thunder boxes, and they are groomed campsites. But they don't have access to any of the other amenities that you saw at that you'll see at Achray Campground. So with your 2 nights on Stratton Lake, in the day, when you're thinking of something to do, you can paddle to the northeast of Stratton Lake. So all the way up into the northeastern side of Stratton Lake. If you take your canoes there, there's a little trail that leads from the water's edge and it goes up and to the left. And if you follow that trail, you'll pass some swimming holes, and then eventually you'll get to this natural water slide, which is great fun in all water levels. Some people bring hockey pants to put on to make it easier on them, or sit on a life jacket sometimes, and that's great fun. You can continue down the path and see the actual high falls if you want, or you can go upstream and there's these kinds of swimming holes where you can hang out and have fun as a family and sort of play in the water there. There, just around the corner, there's also this jumping rock, which I think is about 9 feet high. There's no obstructions in the water. It's perfectly safe. It's a great way to have fun jumping like that. And then when you're done with Stratton Lake, you've had your 2 nights and you're paddling out. You're going to be going through small lakes and through some great sort of marshy areas. And it's an absolutely great paddle, but it is hard work. So you got to make sure you have an adventurous crew that's ready to portage 500 or 700 meters at a time, which means they're not carrying too much extra gear. You will have eaten your food by then, which is great, but you have to make sure that you're ready for that kind of portaging. And then once you get out at Squirrel Rapids, hopefully you'll also have a vehicle waiting where you can drive back up to get your car at Achray. The other thing just to mention is when you do arrive at Achray, you also have to check in with the ranger station to get your actual permit that you can display at your campsite. Also, you need something for your cars. So you have to make sure that you get your parking pass from the ranger for your vehicles, which they will charge you a small amount for. And then on your way home then, you might want to stop in Cobden, which is on the way because it's got this great, unmistakably big brew pub and restaurant, which is on the side of the road. We go there every time we're in the area. We love it. It's great food and great for the whole family. It's very appropriate for family dining. There's also, obviously, if you want to go to Petawawa or to Pembroke or to Renfrew, there's a whole host of restaurants that you can choose from, local ones that are independently owned, as well as the chains that we know and love. I hope that gives you some information to organize your trip. If you want to make any other comments, just leave them below. But I hope you have a great time at Achray Station and at High Falls on the way to the Barron River, and we'll hope to see you out there.